I started getting a fever. I thought it was just a regular cold. I had a runny nose, a cough, and a fever. The day after it started, I couldn't even stand up.
Prison wardens always say a familiar line. If you die, it only costs us one A4 sheet of paper.
Beriberi, a condition known in Myanmar prisons as Chi, is caused by vitamin B1 deficiency. Former prisoners in Myanmar say that many inmates suffer from this illness because they are deprived of adequate nutrition. While easily treatable, beriberi can be fatal without proper medical care. This week, we take you inside the prisons where inmates have endured the disease. Mingalaba, hello and welcome to the Athan podcast program, presented by Frontier Myanmar. This episode was written by freelance journalists Mo Lay and Pye, and narrated by Douglas. For security reasons, some names in this report have been changed. In a large prison hall measuring 70 feet by 50 feet, about 150 people were sleeping quietly, but Ko Chit Ko remained wide awake. The inmates were packed together and covered with blankets, but the cold still seeped into his body.
I started getting a fever. I thought it was just a regular cold. I had a runny nose, a cough, and a fever. The day after it started, I couldn't even stand up. My legs had no strength. I came to understand that it was because my body lacked sufficient nutrition.
Ko Chit Ko, 26, was sentenced to 3 years in insane prison in 2022 under Section 505A of the Penal Code for the vaguely defined crime of incitement. The middle son in a family of 6, he worked in a bank before his arrest. Throughout his life, he had been healthy and rarely got sick, but in prison he began suffering from beriberi, a disease common among prisoners that causes bodily swelling and muscle weakness.
When I couldn't walk, I couldn't go to the toilet by myself anymore. My legs couldn't hold me up. So there was always a companion by my side. A brother convicted under a political charge always helped me. I had to walk about 300 meters to reach the showers during the bathing time. I could use the toilet inside the hall where we were locked in, but when we were allowed outside, the toilet was about 200 meters away.
When he first started suffering from the illness, the prison ward clinic gave him medicine. But when he didn't improve, he had to go to the prison hospital. Without any examination, he was told he had beriberi and was given a single injection. However, his condition only grew worse. Beriberi, known in Myanmar prisons as Chi, is caused by a deficiency of vitamin B1 or thiamine, according to general practitioner Dr. K. B1 is absorbed into the body from foods such as pork, fish, nuts, and whole grains, and is converted into energy that allows the nervous system, heart, and muscles to function normally. Dr. K said prisoners contract the disease due to lack of proper nutrition.
It is due to insufficient food. For example, eating the plain white rice provided in prison without meat, fish, beans, eggs, or other food containing vitamin B1 is inadequate. The nutrition is not balanced. And the main point is that eating the same fixed diet for a long time leads to malnutrition, and this is much more likely to happen in places like prisons.
This is because places with big crowds to feed, not only prisons, but also refugee camps, internally displaced persons camps, nursing homes, and orphanages, often provide inadequate nutritional support for people staying there, Dr. K said. Beriberi is divided into 2 types, dry and wet. Dry beriberi affects the nervous system, leading to the inability to walk, numbness or burning sensations in the limbs, muscle atrophy, and leg wasting. Wet beriberi affects the heart, causing shortness of breath, fatigue, and swelling in the legs, ankles, and body. Both types can be treated with vitamin B1 pills or injections, but can be life-threatening if left untreated. There is no detailed data about the incidence of beriberi in Myanmar prisons. However, prisoners who spoke to Do Athan said most detainees experience at least some symptoms of the disease while incarcerated. May Kabya, 41, is a member of the LGBTQ+ community who worked in a factory before her arrest under Section 505A of the Penal Code. In 2022, she was sentenced to 3 years in prison. The first symptoms of beriberi she experienced were soft skin and swollen calves. The swelling soon spread to the rest of her legs. After she lost the ability to walk, she was given permission by prison authorities to seek medical treatment.
After going for treatment 3 times, the disease still wasn't cured. My legs were still swollen and I still couldn't walk. When I went for the 3rd treatment, they said, "We have reached the dosage limit of 3 injections. If you still don't recover, we have no more medicine to treat you." So they wrote down a prescription for my family to buy medicine for me from outside if they could afford it.
However, the medicine she needed never arrived. Although the prison doctors themselves wrote the prescription for her family to purchase the medicine from outside, and her family brought it to the prison authorities refused to allow the medication to be delivered to May Kabya. In this situation, where prison authorities ban the delivery of necessary medicine, those suffering from beriberi must struggle to survive with help from fellow prisoners and with whatever small amount of medicine they can obtain. U Ong Myo Chaw from the nonprofit Assistant Association for Political Prisoners said the refusal of authorities to provide proper nutrition and medical treatment constitutes a systematic form of oppression against political prisoners.
Prison wardens always say a familiar line. If you die, it only costs us 1 A4 sheet of paper. Nothing else happens. They want political prisoners' health to deteriorate, and they want them to die in prison.
According to Rule 22 of the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules for the Treatment of Prisoners, also known as the Nelson Mandela Rules, prison authorities must provide every prisoner with food that is of adequate nutritional value for health and strength, of wholesome quality, and is well prepared. Myanmar's jail manual, published in 1983, but never officially updated despite repeated efforts to revise its contents, includes food guidelines aimed at ensuring a nutritionally balanced diet. It explicitly states the exact amount of meat, fish, and beans that should be provided to each prisoner. However, former inmates say the actual meals served do not meet these standards. In the past, even though prison meals lacked nutrition, inmates could rely on food parcels and medicine sent by their families twice a month. Since 2023, however, prison visits and parcel deliveries have been heavily restricted, leaving political prisoners to face an even greater chance of contracting severe beriberi, according to U Ong Myo Chaw.
The problem now is that people who aren't listed on a prisoner's household registration list aren't allowed to visit or send parcels. But some family members can't easily visit. In some areas of the country, security concerns make it unsafe to travel. For sending parcels, only direct family members can send them, so friends and acquaintances are blocked. Because of these restrictions, political prisoners inside can't eat nutritious food anymore. This leads directly to issues with muscle swelling and physical weakness.
U Ong Myo Chaw added that amid such brutal oppression, death threats, and neglect by prison authorities, Political prisoners are left with no choice but to lick their wounds and fight for survival. Ko Chit Ko said that after contracting acute beriberi, he had to battle his way back to health by drawing on the solidarity and emotional strength provided by his fellow prisoners. While he has since recovered, he continues to suffer from lingering side effects. He sees no prospect of the junta taking steps to prevent avoidable diseases among prisoners. So for now, anyone who falls ill has no choice but to survive the same way he did, by relying on one another.
The main thing is that we keep moving forward by leaning on one another, offering mutual encouragement and standing close together. We couldn't afford to project too much into the future, so we simply focused on each day, promising ourselves that tomorrow we will do it better and support each other even more.
Thank you for listening to this edition of Do Athan. We welcome your feedback on social media, and please follow or subscribe to our pages. You can listen to our weekly podcasts via the Do Athan Facebook page. They can also be found on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Telegram, and Instagram. Please tune in again next week.